You're listening to DraftKings Network.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account, a friend paying you back, or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card, or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh Cashback terms apply.
Folks, the playoff season is here, and the only thing better than the game day predictions are the foods that come with them. Introducing Tums Fantasy Food Ball Pool, brought to you by Tums, America's #1 antacid brand, and DraftKings. Each week leading up to the big game, turn football into food ball by building your best game day plate for a shot at winning a share of $40,000 in cash prizes. Inspired by game day bites and tailgate treats, join the Tums Food Ball action during this playoff season's most heartburn-inducing times. Visit DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball between January 6th and February 9th to enter for free and select your game day plate before the start of each playoff round. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See terms at DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball. When you feel the heat of the game, don't let the heartburn keep you on the sidelines. Try Tums Chewy Bites with a tasty outer shell and soft center for fast relief of heartburn, acid indigestion, and upset stomach. Check out Tums Gummy Bites, featuring a soft and easy-to-chew format for fast relief of occasional heartburn, acid indigestion, sour stomach, and upset stomach. Both available at Amazon, Target, and other major retailers nationwide. And for more heartburn relief fun, be sure to follow Tums at Tums Official on Instagram and TikTok.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
Look at this! Doggy on a Tuesday! Oh! Doggy on a Tuesday! Can't even fix his hair! Too busy running from Hollywood premiere to Hollywood premiere because First Take has given him a second life.
Out here last Tuesday in London, you'd be amazed. My hair was freaking frozen.
Okay,
Ice.
I am mortified by your general behavior of being Maximum Stugotz, getting near the fame, and demanding that Timothée Chalamet, whatever his name is, I can't pronounce his first name.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's the first name I have trouble with because it's not Timothy.
Timothy.
It's not
Timothée.
It's Timothée.
Get over yourself.
Okay,
I mean,
well, that's
Jesus.
the thing.
Right.
Mad
It's
Dog,
Timmy.
you got to the top, and you immediately started calling in favors, and then Chalamet's got to give you an audience. And then you get the audience. Shameless. Embarrassing.
It was, but I enjoyed it. I can guarantee you that, baby. Listen, I did that thing on First Take, and I had done the Complete Unknown stuff for a while because I love the promos, I love Dylan and everything else. But when I went on there on January 2nd, I said, okay, let's do a mad about, and let's do a mad about me, about how I couldn't get a seat to the premiere. In New York on December, 17th or 18th, somehow, some way, Searchlight didn't think of me. And so I said, let's have fun with that. Obviously, First Take loves it when you're being made fun of instead of me making fun of everybody else. And lo and behold, 4 days later, Searchlight calls Jill Dreibin, my agent, one of them, and says, listen, how would he like to go to one of the premieres in Europe? So it was London, it was Paris, and it was Rome. And I looked at the calendar, looked at when the football games were. Rome was a Friday, so I didn't want to go there because I missed the NFL. Wednesday, Paris. I thought maybe the Q&A would be in French, so I wouldn't hear that properly. So that's why I picked London. I flew over there last Monday, took my daughter, who was 24, on Wednesday.
Embarrassing.
And lo and behold, Chalamet did an absolutely tremendous job.
Okay.
And forget me.
You're bought and paid for. You're bought and paid. Yeah, no, I'm going to argue about that.
Yeah, you're right.
Embrace it, Doggy.
And Bob Dylan would hate what you're doing. He would hate what you're doing.
Well, he hates what everyone's doing.
He hates what Chalamet's doing. And you're out here endorsing, you laundering Chalamet for Bob Dylan because they can buy you. It's embarrassing. But we'll get to that in a second. I want to play the sound for you and the audience of you using your platform shamelessly to just curry favor with the famous so that your daughter can get cool things here. It's not objectivity and it's wrong and it needs to be called out.
It's good parenting, though.
Yeah. That's it.
Last Thursday, I had to wait in line in that cold weather at that Royal Theater in Norwalk. They don't know me. 5 seats? Yeah, but you're right back. I had to sit in the front row. I had to sit in the front row! Don't laugh!
That's the worst. Break it down.
What a disgrace. You mean to tell me that somebody from that movie couldn't pick up the phone and say, you know what, the guy's an idiot, but he's talking about us about it. Send him a lousy ticket so he can go premiere on the west side of Manhattan. And I wasn't invited. And that has me really, really upset. And it shows me at 65 years of age that I have, we know he doesn't have any power. Where's Chalamet, by the way, hot stuff? Shows that I have no power.
I love you, Doggy.
That was on January 2nd, Danny. That was on January. Now, I did not do that thinking that somehow, some way, because I had been screaming about this movie for a month and nobody had reacted at all. Radio, TV, everything. Nobody said a word.
I'm gonna argue.
But that one resonated.
Look, I don't like what you've become late in your career here, where you are simply trafficking in all of the powers that you have to do things that satiate only you and your ego.
Dog's been doing this his entire career.
I know,
Dan.
it's great. It's been wonderful to see it have a resurgence so strong that he just got done casually saying, one of my agents. What? One of my agents?
Yep.
How many agents do you have, Russo?
Well, they work together, and I wanted to give Joe the credit because they called her. You are funny, Batard. You are funny. You are funny. But anyway, little did I know, after I did that, a day or so later, Chalamet called Shirtslight. Let's get him a couple tickets to one of our premieres. So I went, and I wasn't going to take my daughter. I was going to take my youngest son, who loves movies, and he goes to Loyola Marymount, but he's mad that I got Chalamet and he didn't, so he didn't want to do it, so that's where Kira Russo came in. And there is the shot of Chalamet, and the nicest guy in the world, Stugotz, look at that, the nicest guy in the world. Yeah. And what a nice kid. And forget me, he signed every autograph for those fans who lined that red carpet. He took pictures. He grasped the idea. He on the set or on the stage before the movie was presented. He did a great job. Talked about the LA fires. I mean, I can't tell you how. And then he's doing Saturday Night Live this week, as you guys know. So I can't tell you how good he did. What a nice kid. What a nice kid.
Doggy Djokovic, huh?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I got up at 5:15 to watch. He lost the first set, and he was right in the middle of the first set, and he had to take a medical timeout because he hurt his groin. He came back in the second set, got a little more aggressive. Alcaraz was a little off. And Djokovic he had a great second serve. He much more offensive than normal. He got a little healthier. That's a hell of a win. 37 years of age, beating Alcaraz in four sets, winning 3 in a row. Now he's in the semifinals of Australia, which he's won 10 times. We're getting off the beaten path. But that's a hell of a win.
Well, you're not getting off the beaten path, but this Mad Dog still has a good ear for this. He knows when the audience wants 45 seconds of Mad Dog and when they want 25 seconds of Mad Dog on a subject. But I do think it's fair to say that you might be the country's preeminent voice on tennis,
no doubt,
in this sphere. And so what you just saw this morning that still gets you up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you just saw a champion do what great champions do and push back youth by going and summoning his own, even though he's injured. And you just saw Djokovic throw back on somebody who's young and coming for his job with, no, I'm better than anyone who played in my era. I'm the best there's ever been.
100%, Dan. Remember, he beat him in Paris when he won the Olympic gold medal, which he really wanted to do. He won in straight sets and tie-break sets, took 3 hours on the clay. He did not win a major last year, Djokovic. He lost, he didn't win. He got to some finals, but he lost. Obviously, Alcaraz beat him in 2 straight Wimbledon finals. Alcaraz is an all-timer. He's going to be, and Alcaraz handled himself great today. I mean, even after he lost, he's a very, very cool guy. He's a good loser. And Djokovic did a hell of a job. I mean, he had some offense today. He served big, and in one of the sets, he was up 3-0. I think it was the third set of the set apiece. He was up 3-0, lost 3 straight games. And you figured, all right, he's had his little run. Now he's dead. And he hung on to win the set. So I give him a lot of credit. He plays Zverev next in one of the semifinals. He's still got to beat Sinner, who's on the other side of the draw. That will be absolutely tricky. It's amazing, Dan, how you went from Chalamet, red carpet London, to Melbourne, quarterfinals Djokovic. Talk about transition. That's a hell of a job on your part.
Russo, it's one of the greatest compliments you could give as a host for all time to tell me that I am doing this correctly. I will have you know that as you were talking about tennis,
I brought it to tennis.
Yes, you brought it to tennis. I will give you your credit in a moment. If you give me just a second, I will tell your idol about the good thing that you did. That's where I was headed. As you were talking, Stugotz was saying in my ear, I couldn't even hear you, this is how he does it, baby. This is how the music plays. He goes through the resume and shows you how he knows off the top of his head all of this person's credentials, and then he dismounts, and he's a gymnast for all time. Stugotz was doing play-by-play on what it is that you were saying because he's enjoyed your tennis analysis for 30 years.
Doggy, I was telling Dan right before you gave credit to Alcaraz, he's going to give credit to Alcaraz. How about that?
He did. He knew.
Really?
He's got the scouting report on you. He could do it. I would love to have Stugotz play-by-play that you could hear on how well he can do you for you because
I know that. I'm well aware. He follows me. I got to be careful with him because he's idol might be a little strong, Dan, but I'm a sports fan first. And so, I haven't watched that much of the Australian Open yet because it's been a week earlier this year, which means it's in the middle of all the football. So I've stayed away. I'll be on top of it this week. Djokovic plays Alcaraz. He's 37 years of age. How many more times is he going to get a chance to be on this stage? I know PMAC fairly well. He's calling a match. Fowler will be there for the weekend, by the way. I know PMAC fairly well. I needed to get up, and 5:15 is better than 3:30 because there was a match before it. So I was juiced up. I kept my eyes open, and I was there right away. And listen, it's a big weekend. You had 4 good NFL games. You had a college championship. You got an Australian Open final. Buffalo, Kansas City should be great on Sunday afternoon. Daniels is great. It's a good time of the year in sports. Danny, as you know, it's a good time of the year.
I, again, will present to you and the audience, though, is anyone in your life, any family, any friends, saying to you, Mad Dog, the way you've been compromised on this Bob Dylan movie offends us from the 1970s. You're shilling on behalf of Bob Dylan's movie in a way Bob Dylan would find unbecoming. He hated Hollywood this way.
That is fair. Now, Dylan does like Chalamet's performance. He put that tweet out. And I don't want to come across as this Dylan expert. There are a lot more people older than me who know a lot more about Dylan than I do. Eddie Coleman, the old New York Met guy from FAN, is one. My buddy Sean McAdam is two. But I love the songs. Have you seen the movie yet, by the way, both of you guys? Have you seen them or not?
I haven't seen it.
I have not.
No.
I haven't.
You have no desire to see it, or you're going to get around to it?
Not a big Dylan fan. Got to be honest, Doug.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, the movie's great. I was really impressed with the London audience. They laughed at the right spots. Outside of me having to go to the bathroom and calling over 9 million people.
What happened there? What happened? Did you lose your seats?
And I know, they gave me the seats in the middle of the theater, Kira and I.
What?
So I said to myself, this is going to be dangerous. The movie's 2:20. I had to sit there through the little prelim with the 3 actors, Monica Barbero, Norton, and Chalamet. I'm definitely, I'm 65 years of age. I get up 9 times during the night. I knew I was going to be in a situation where I was going to have to crawl over somebody.
The seats weren't good enough.
I had to pick my spot. 4 English people, and I'm crawling over hands and knees and I knew where the movie kind of slowed up, so I picked a spot to do it, and then I saw the conclusion of the movie again in the back of the theater. Anyway, loved every minute of it. He does a great job, and I love the songs. Also authentic. It did not disappoint. Now, be fair, Dan, be fair. When I started on this little complete unknown rampage, I did it 5 or 6 months ago. I did not do it with the idea, well, let me do this enough times and somebody from the movie will find out about it. And as a result, I'll get preferential treatment. That was the furthest thing from my mind. Now, it worked out that way, but that was to be fair. And I'd be the first to tell you if I did this with a pre-planned, but that was not my plan going in. Not my plan. I got to be fair. It wasn't my plan.
Doggy, just before you came on, we were talking some of the legends of the game, the immortals, as Dan put it, and he called Mark Andrews an immortal. In terms of tight ends, do you rank him as an immortal?
I may have gotten
not after Sunday. I don't.
Oh no!
Right.
Oh no!
And can you meet the media after the game, guys? When you drop fumble and you drop a big pass before Jackson's fumble, and then you drop the 2-point conversion. Can you meet the media after the game?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that asking too much?
Put it on the poll. Put it on the poll, Juju.
Yep.
Hey, Mark Andrews, can you meet the media? Is that asking too much?
Say it to me. Say it to somebody.
I remember Diggs last year after he dropped that pass, which probably would have won a game against Kansas City for Buffalo. He didn't meet the media either. Yeah. These guys are hot stuff. They meet the media and they put everything out when they do well, but when they do badly, they don't.
They are hot stuff.
Right.
They are hot stuff.
It drives me crazy.
What would you have asked, Doggy? What would you have asked him?
I would have been nice about it. I would have been,
yeah.
It was his first fumble of the year. I thought the fumble at midfield was worse than a 2-point conversion. And I say that because I think even if he caught it, 1:40 to go, Buffalo 2 timeouts, Bass had already made a 51-yard field goal. I think Buffalo probably would have gone down the field and maybe win the game with a field goal. But the fumble at 24-19, if he doesn't and they score and, let's see, go up 3, they would have been no worse than overtime. So I thought the fumble at midfield actually was worse than the dropped 2-point conversion myself. And, let's give Jackson credit. I mean, he did have the 2 turnovers, but he drove his team down the field. He bounced back.
Do we have to give him credit? Do we have to give him credit?
And I've been anti-Jackson because I think he's overrated a little bit.
Do we have to give him credit?
Let him talk.
Do we have to give him credit? Because Andrews didn't catch the ball. Do we have to give him credit?
I think we do, Dan, because of the drive. If they did not go down the field and score, and they ended up losing the game 27-19, I think we would have been a lot more critical. The fact that he got the game tied with 1.5 minutes to go after a bad first half, I think you got to give him credit. Now, is he as good as Mahomes? No. Is he as good as Allen? No. Is he as good as Burrow? No. I don't think he's as good as Stafford. But
he's a 2-time MVP, Doggy.
But he's 3-5 in the postseason.
That's right. You tell him, Doggy.
So was Peyton Manning, though, and I was arguing the whole time that while it was happening that he was as good as Brady.
He's not. He's not.
Is it possible John Harbaugh is just not that great of a coach?
The fact that Tony Romo, for the second time in a month, went on the air on Sunday to tell us that Harbaugh is an all-time top whatever it might be coach. Tony, have you heard of Belichick? Have you heard of Lombardi? Have you heard of Parcells, Gibbs, Paul Brown, George Halas, Bill Walsh? Have you heard of Andy Reid? Have you heard of some of these guys? That is outlandish. Harbaugh's done a good job.
One Super Bowl.
One Super Bowl.
Exactly.
He's been to one Super Bowl in 15 years, 18, 20 years. Let's take it easy.
Yeah.
Please, take it easy. And I'll tell you right now, I am so sick of Kansas City. If I see Caitlin Clark or Taylor Swift one more time in that freaking suite, I'm going to go throw up. And if Mahomes gets one more call, the whole Chief organization gets nothing but calls. How the hell did they call those 2 roughing the passers? And then Mahomes is mocking the officials by trying to get a 3rd call by dancing out of bounds and see if he can figure out a way to get another 15 free yards. That was a disgrace on Saturday afternoon. And I'm not saying Kansas City won the game because of that, but they got a field goal in the first third, Nate, roughing the passer on Will Anderson, which is an awful call. And then they got the second one when he was pretended to go out of bounds, didn't, and they gave him another 15 yards, which led to a touchdown. The NFL should be embarrassed with the amount of falls that Kansas City gets year after year after year. It drives, I don't know how you feel about it. I am chiefed out. It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy.
I want to ask you, because I am someone, having done this for a very long time, but not as long as you.
Oh, yes, you've done it a long time.
Who marvels at your general stamina. The question I want to ask you is, does your family get annoyed by how much you just cared about what you were just talking about?
You know what they care about? The volume of the voice. That's what they care about.
Right.
When I get into it and go loud, that's when everybody, and my poor wife, and remember, I'm an empty nester right now, and my poor wife gets it. Can you calm down a minute?
But it's your passion. But Russo, it's the fuel in the furnace at the end that makes all of the economy grow so that he has 2 agents.
I agree. Well, again, 2 agents is a little strong.
Right. They work together.
You're the one who
take
said
it easy. I don't have Scott Forrest and Sandy Montag. Take it easy.
I know. You said it, Doggy.
He's the one who said one of my agents. I didn't make that correction. You made that correction. I don't have any agents.
You should have an agent for the career that you got. Anyway,
tell me about
yes. So the world, at least me, is going to root like hell for Buffalo on Sunday night. Oh, I don't want to see Chiefs Eagles again. Please, whatever you can do.
Don Batard.
I want to talk about a team that I actually want to see come playoff time. I want to see the Chiefs.
Oh, Stugotz.
I want Patrick Mahomes strolling into my stadium with max confidence. I want Travis Kelce. I want Taylor Swift. I want the team that lost to Jordan Love. I want the team that lost to Aiden O'Connell. I want the team that trailed 17-0 to Jake Browning. That is the team that I would like to face in the playoffs. That's the team, indeed, that I would want to face in the playoffs because that team is not very good.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Well, what do you want? What do you want?
I'm going to root for Washington.
What do you want?
He wants Bills Washington.
I
want Bills Washington.
Jaden, give me all the history here. Jaden Daniels is the best rookie quarterback since blank.
That's a good question. Let me think. Since ever? I mean, he has played so well. God, he's good. No mistakes in the postseason. I'd have to go back and look what Luckman did. I'd have to go. Brady didn't win as a rookie.
Marino
came in, but that was that his second year when they got to the Super Bowl? It was his second, right, Danny?
But I thought that he came in at the beginning of that season and immediately showed us, oh, holy shit, no one learns the position that quickly. You rarely see it that obviously, Russo.
Good point. Marino would be the other person. But listen, Marino didn't make the championship game his first year. That was his second year when they got to the Super Bowl in '85 because he came out of the '83 draft. This kid is doing it in his rookie year. He had all those starts in college. I give them a chance on Sunday. Hurts' injury is going to be interesting. And the Buffalo-Kansas City game is fascinating. I thought McDermott was very conservative late in the second half, or really the whole second half on Sunday. He's not going to have to – he can't do that this week. He's got to be as aggressive as hell. And I don't know how you feel about it. I've had enough of the Chiefs. Let's pray for the Bills on Sunday. Pray for the Bills.
Doggy, I looked up Sid Luckman's rookie year. He threw for 636 yards.
How about Sammy Baugh, Stugotz? How about Sammy Baugh?
Don't do this.
I'll look up Sammy.
Don't do this. We don't want to do that show.
What do you mean?
What is it? What else has you maximum fired up today? Like you just went through the litany of all the things in sports you love. You got a 3-day long weekend and a whole lot of football in it. So you come out raring this work week thinking about what most passionately?
I did a show yesterday because of all the games. I guess the other thing would be this. How about these Ohio State fans who for weeks wanted Ryan Day basically run out of town because he lost to Michigan when they were already in the tournament. And then, in fact, they win 4 in a row in convincing fashion and play great doing it. and now all of a sudden, he's the incarnate of Woody Hayes. You talk about a bunch of phonies, and you talk about those Buckeye fans who think in this era, when the end game is more important than any regular season game, nobody at Ohio State or Ann Arbor should care that much about Ohio State and Michigan. The idea is to win in the postseason. That is the idea. That is what Ohio State would. I'll ask an Ohio State fan this: would they rather have beaten Michigan the Saturday after Thanksgiving and not have a flag planted at midfield?
Yes.
Or would they rather have had that? Or rather gotten blown out by Tennessee?
No, they'd be fine. That's fine. They would have taken the win over Michigan.
So it's a tainted championship, Doggy. They didn't beat Michigan. I mean, I would respect Ohio State fans more if they still fired Ryan Day, honestly.
Oh, come on. The Michigan game means nothing.
Oh, because he can't win it. Because he can't win that game. That's the game. You can't do it, Doggy.
Doggy, last year Michigan won the national championship and beat Ohio State.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Should Ohio State?
I'll grant you it would be a touch sweeter if the Michigan win it was part of this run. But the bottom line is, in my eyes, the 4-game run is far significant than losing to Michigan. Who cares?
One last question from Stugotz, but just put it on the poll for me, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Should Ohio State fire Ryan Day anyway? At Le Batard Show.
Speaking of phony fan bases, Doggy, how about the Philadelphia Eagle fan base? I mean, this is a fan base who wanted to fire Nick Sirianni. All Sirianni has done has made it to the postseason his first 4 seasons as the Eagles head coach. Only Eagles head coach to do that in the history of the organization. He has brought them to a Super Bowl, a play away from beating Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Now he's back in the NFC Championship game, and this fraudulent fan base wanted to fire this head coach, who might be the best head coach in Eagles history, dog. They wanted to fire him 7 weeks ago.
I'm not a big Sirianni fan, but you're making an excellent point. And now that's Stugotz. They play hard for him. Barkley likes him. He made the right decision not playing him in week 18 against the Giants, which nobody cared about. That was obviously a big performance by Barkley on those big running plays. He's got a banged-up quarterback. He's done a good job revamping that defense with Fangio. You guys know him well. And the Eagle fan also, I had a lot of calls yesterday telling me, well, I was never worried Sunday. Never worried. What are you, crazy? I mean, the Rams had a first down at the 21-yard line with a minute left, with about to win the game. How could you not be worried, for crying out loud?
Well, I want to ask you, though, when Stugotz says what he says, never mind 7 weeks ago, in the last 5 minutes of that game, Eagles fans wanted to fire Sirianni again. Like that is where the expectations are for that team. Doggy, you've seen this so many times, right? I mean, that fan base is crazy to begin with, but now give it the expectations of championships. Give it, we can win one with our backup quarterback, and we can be so much better than everyone. They've got an offensive line that mauls people, and they're trying to win football the old-fashioned way, and those fans are the craziest and most rugged in the sport. A.J. Brown better not read something on the sidelines. They're nuts, Doggy. They were nuts 15 years ago. They were nuts 30 years ago.
Yep.
This is the most nuts they've been, to have this particular team representing them, and they don't trust their meathead coach. They don't, because they got spoiled on Andy Reid, and they got spoiled on the idea of we deserve to be in the championship game.
Andy Reid, who won nothing for them. Nothing.
Yeah, well, you got the one FC championship. Yeah, those fans are tricky. I completely agree. It's a very fickle fan base. All fan bases are up and down, but they're beyond crazy with being up and down. And again, he has to win it all. I think him and McDermott have a lot of pressure on him. I think McDermott has to beat the Chiefs. You can't go 0-4 against Kansas City in the postseason. I think it's not as much pressure on Allen, because he's played well against Kansas City in the past. That's a lot of pressure on McDermott. They have to win the game. For him, he's going to get some heat if he doesn't. And I think Sirianni, as you just said, Danny, I think Sirianni is going to can't lose to Washington. He's a 5-point favorite. And, he lost 2 years ago. Again, I thought the call was a bad call under the circumstances. He probably has to win it. So I think those two have Quinn's got no pressure on him. Reid, what are you going to say? He's won 3 titles. He's got no pressure on him. The two coaches that need to win in the worst way is Buffalo and Philadelphia. And because that fan base is nuts, Sirianni probably more, they'd be all over him, because they're also a bigger favorite, and they're home. than the Buffalo one. But McDermott needs to win this game. It's a big game for McDermott. Eventually, you're going to have to beat Andy Reid in a big spot. And they have lost a lot of playoff games. And again, great teams have beaten them, but they need to win this year. We shall see. Looking forward to it.
He is the leader America needs right now. He's the host of Mad Dog Unleashed, weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM's Mad Dog Sports Radio, and he is very much Stugotz's idol.
Yeah, I looked up Sammy Baugh as well, dog. 1,127 yards his rookie season.
What year was that? 38, 39?
Yeah, 37, dog.
All right, enough with the two of you. He's just showing off his historic muscle from 80 years ago. See you later, Doggy. Thank you.
Good job, Danny.
Thank you.
That's the ultimate compliment.
Highest compliment.
Yes.
The highest compliment.
Danny, good job, Danny.
Good. I am swooning with intoxicated delight that he thinks I do this well.
Wonder who he thinks the next American male to win a Grand Slam is. Wow. It's a log jam there.
Doggy, you hear that?
You guys we can bring him back. You guys want to do tennis? I believe that Mike Ryan,
Shelton.
I believe if we got Doggy on right now, that Mike Ryan and Doggy could do the best 5 minutes in tennis radio or sports pods you will find anywhere in America or internationally.
Possibly the only.
That too.
The only 5 minutes.
That too.
That's by default.
That is that was a rhetorical
That isn't
trick.
a tennis-specific pod. It's us.
Hey.
No, you're wrong, because I'm sure there is a community of pods, as there is everywhere, for things that people care about unreasonably. But it is rare, I will tell you, for Stugotz and Mike Ryan to both be shaken by the nipples in the morning because they know they're watching historic greatness on the television, and you want to be paying attention when you care so much that you know that the care that goes into Rafael Nadal, who's going to limp through the rest of his life because of God knows what he's done to his feet to try and keep up with these two, Djokovic and Federer. For Djokovic to still be someone who's in the middle of your dreams, nightmares, making Tuesday morning relevant because you want to see him lose or you want to see him win. But either way, you know you're watching historic greatness.
Well, he's the last guy left from that generation. Federer retired. Nadal is done, as you pointed out.
Murray's his coach.
Right, Murray is coaching him, and Djokovic is still playing. And not just still playing at the highest of levels. He's 37, and he beat the guy coming for all his stuff, Carlos Alcaraz, who was 21. He's in better shape than Alcaraz. It's insane.
I wish the match were better, but the reason why we're being grabbed by the nipples and shaken is, like, if I tell you, hey, on a Tuesday morning at 7 a.m., Bird and Magic are playing 1v1. It's all-time greatness. Those are probably, when it's all said and done, 2 top 5 men's tennis players of all time that we just get as a gift here, January, Tuesday morning. I'll stop on it every time.
I want to get into, with Mike Ryan, what is surrounding Mark Andrews, because I pulled too hard on the rope in calling him an immortal because I'm trying to protect him. I'm trying to shield him for what cometh his way.
He might be the third best tight end in Ravens history.
Yeah, I think so. He's behind Sharp and Heap.
I got carried away. I'm sorry for that. Billy and Stugotz immediately jumped to attention.
Immortal.
He does need 3 more good years, though.
Totally fair. I just think of him as
to become Jared Cook.
I think of him as pretty great, like, because those guys didn't have as many touchdowns as he had.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's a really good player.
But
he's fantastic. Like, if he puts together like another Olympiad of what he's done in his career, he's a borderline Canton guy. Right now, his Canton grade, according to Pro Football Reference, is in the 30s. So he needs a little bit more longevity.
I got carried away. Tony Gonzalez is the kind of immortal that I'm talking about. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody mentioned this to me. I didn't know if it were so or not. But Bezos's wife is the mother of Tony Gonzalez. Didn't know that until I didn't know that until yesterday.
They were married, or they were together. Certainly.
Tony Gonzalez
puts Amazon on Prime like in a whole new light, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting, certainly. I've got 4 years where I'm looking at touchdowns increasing, and generally, if I tell you who's the best to ever play at that organization, by and large, you're going to go to touchdowns for an offensive player who's not a quarterback. It's how you're going to measure greatness. When we think of that team and all-time greatness, Stugotz, we think of Ray Lewis.
Ed Reed.
We think of Ed Reed.
Yep.
Do you think of Jamal Anderson when they were rugged and
Jamal Lewis?
Jamal Lewis,
Jamal
excuse
Anderson
me.
was the Falcons.
Forgive
Dirty
me.
Bird.
I do not.
You don't think of like getting close to 2,000 yards playing the Saquon Barkley way? You think of Flacco? That's who you're thinking of there?
When I think of all-time great Ravens, perhaps I should. I just don't. I don't go. Yeah, but I think of the defense. I do. I think of that team. I think of the guys who play defense.
If we're doing like name association, it's Ray Lewis, Ed Reed defense.
Yes.
That's their legacy.
But offensively, I mean...
Offensively, I probably, because he was there for so long playing the most important position, I'd probably say Flacco, but Jamal Lewis was more excellent at his job in an individual season than arguably any... Well, no, Lamar Jackson now. Sorry, I'm showing my age. Lamar Jackson's probably the offensive player for that.
The reason I bring all of it up is because, quiet as it is kept in America's most popular sport, for 20 years now, the greatest of the organizations has been these Ravens, if not for the stupidity of what the Patriots were doing. Largely, in terms of general excellence, they flip-flopped from we were a defensive organization to now we're an offensive organization, and both styles punch you in the mouth all game. Jay Glazer's saying... That's a culture of violence that they have over there. Ricky Williams saying, when I'm in that locker room with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, I feel like a bunny rabbit with wolves. Like you're talking about the Baltimore Ravens, if toughness is something that you feel like you can see, it's been that organization for a quarter century, for as long as the Patriots have been here, and they've done. Do I have this wrong?
I mean, the Steelers have won more Super Bowls than the Ravens in that time, and they haven't had a losing season. I don't think anyone thinks that they've been dominant, but they've done as much postseason, if not more postseason winning than the Ravens.
But the reason I bring it up is because I remember the Dolphin team that was 11-5 got carried away with itself, had a home playoff game, and the Ravens came in here and ransacked them with that defense. Because when I think of Ravens being great at football, I think defense. The last 6 weeks of this season, when they moved Kyle Hamilton to safety, they had the number one defense in the sport. And they fall at the end, but whether your expectations are the Steelers or the Ravens have been close to the best for 25 years, competitive in the conversation.
They've certainly been in the conversation.
They're
one of the better organizations in the NFL. They just don't win enough.
More than the other teams. Even I don't know. Who do you regard as better over the last 25 years? Maybe that's how you do the measurement. Just Super Bowls and nothing else. And I could say winning and nothing else, because Tomlin's on the hot seat in a way that Harbaugh is not, because he doesn't get this far to the expectations being here anymore. He gets to the first round, and that's when he's done, and they're fed up with that.
But the Ravens are done in the second round.
Yeah, but they've been to the Super Bowl. They played the Patriots.
Well, they've won a Super Bowl. They should have went to another Super Bowl. Lee Evans had that drop in New England. So they're like, the Ravens are one of the better organizations. Yes, the problem is they've won just one Super Bowl.
All right, put it on the poll at Batard Show. Who's been better the last 25 years, Steelers or Ravens? And a remarkably sports question, but I regard the Ravens as better. I may have it wrong. I regard Mark Andrews as somebody who doesn't drop the ball.
I looked up Mark Andrews here on Pro Football Reference and the Hall of Fame monitor number. I don't know if you're familiar with this. The average Hall of Fame monitor number for a tight end is 97. Mark Andrews' Hall of Fame monitor number is 31.13.
He got carried away.
Does it have the fine for not listening? Because Steve Morton also.
You guys have me. You guys have me as Mark Andrews isn't a Hall of Famer?
Well, I mean.
You guys think Mark Andrews?
He said he's an immortal.
He's got to put together 4 more years.
That measurement that you just gave me is for immortals, is it not? That's the measurement. You're trying to give me an immortal meter, were you not?
Sure.
Are we enforcing not listening fines, or are we not?
He's like a third of his way to immortal.
It's Tuesday. Fines are doubled. I mean, how about that?
Well, no, it's opposite days. I think Tuesday's opposite day, so I get paid.
It's a Tuesday that feels like a Monday.
$7.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not paying that. I'll pay when Lucy does.
So I'm not doing it this way. I'm not having the sponsor disrespected this way. This is Venmo, and the Venmo fine bucket must be respected. And so therefore, you and I are going to have to pay our fines.
Well, I Venmo'd it already.
$7.
No.
It's been sent.
Nope. I need to know, though. I haven't used the Venmo yet.
I feel like these fines should be at scale.
You deserve a fine for just it's Tuesday, it's opposite day. Like that's what you deserve. You deserve a fine for that.
It's not on the sheet.
Fine print, it does say fines are doubled on Tuesdays, but it only applies to Greg. So it's just $7 for not listening because we did the whole Pro Football Reference Hall of Fame score thing.
Right.
But sports immortals, man, I'm really hung up on this because that's reserved for like Roberto Clemente, Honus Wagner, Muhammad Ali, and Mark Andrews.
Can you please help me, Roy? Because you've told me again that we have another sponsored segment here of Boldest Take. The first one was crud. Is the second one any better?
Probably not.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Stu. This is Bo from Athens. First time, long time, all the other cliche, random crap. My boldest take is that Carson Beck is going to be a Heisman finalist at Miami. I think once he gets out of Mike Bobo's system and if Cristobal can put him in an offense that allows him to flourish and make smart decisions, then he will end up at that ceremony in New York and will ultimately vindicate Mike. And this is coming from a diehard, lifelong Georgia fan.
From fireside conversations to football Sundays, winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite. I know I do. The grape-tasting light beer for people who love beer. A new year is a perfect time for friends, family, and great-tasting light beer. Tastes like Miller time. Recently, I had family over, and while everyone's palate is different, I knew they all like beer, and they all look like people who want to drink beer that actually tastes like beer. So I brought out a nice little silver platter of Miller Lite. That beautiful white can was an instant winner. Trust me, learn from my experience, set that bad boy out, and you will be making people happy left and right. Because Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers. The original light beer since 1975. And still the very best one. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Billy.
Yes?
You know what we've been talking about all season long?
Smirnoff?
Yeah, how'd you guess?
I knew it. I'm a good guesser.
You are. They are the official sponsor of the Dan Batard Show with Stugotz. So you already know that it's an official vodka partner of the NFL and Super Bowl 59. We're going to be there.
Oh.
Yes.
I can't believe we're by 59 already.
Yeah.
Time flies.
It does, yes.
Yeah, we're old.
I'm old.
Hey, you know what, Stugotz, I was thinking?
Yes.
Since football season's winding down, Super Bowl's coming up, Super Bowl 59, we've been celebrating football all year.
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea.
What?
Let's do a toast.
Okay. Oh, wow.
To football.
Really?
Yeah, me and you. Let's toast football.
So just a toast. So we're raising our glasses of Smirnoff vodka
glasses
here.
Glasses up, yeah.
All right, and we are toasting to football.
To football.
To football, everyone. What we love about Smirnoff is that you can get the world's #1 vodka without breaking the bank. This feeling is what the good folks over at Smirnoff call. Billy, you want to take a stab at this?
Yes. Smirnoff Extraordinary.
Nailed it! Oh my
I told you, I'm a good guesser.
Oh my God. And right now, Smirnoff has partnered with Complex, letting fans get their hands on some amazing items handpicked by celebrities, including NFL legend and Super Bowl champion Vernon Davis, for the unbelievable price of $12.99, just like a bottle of Smirnoff.
Oh.
So head on over to SmirnoffDrops.com to check out upcoming drops and check out, oh, Billy, you want to take a guess again? These
Smirnoff Extraordinary
items.
Oh, look at us. What's the website?
It is SmirnoffDrop.com. Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff, number 21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer and may vary by state. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age.